Hello and welcome to week 6 in research methods, and we are in chapter 6, descriptive research. Now, you might remember from the beginning of your journey here in your education in psychology that one of the definitions that we have of psychology is, well, not a definition per se, but the goals pretty much define what it is to describe, explain, predict, and ultimately control human and animal behavior. So we look at that first one, describing. We can look at psychology as a study in language, labels for things, so that we have a scientific way of talking about the concepts that we discover and study in the world of psychology. But in descriptive, we also have the capacity to talk about how much or how little, or even into the world of some of our statistics when we talk about correlations, a descriptive analysis of how two variables move together. That kind of data is an end in itself. If we want to know suicide rates or the number of people that graduate with law degrees every year, every one of those things might be an important piece of data for us to understand in order to make decisions, and it's simply descriptive in nature. So that is a lot of what we'll be talking about in this particular chapter. It's what we're going to be dealing with here. So first and foremost in the discussion, what I want you to do is go onto the web, search for descriptive statistics. I'll tell you, sports do this all the time. Just go to ESPN or any one of those sports networks and you can see statistics till the cows come home. So lots of examples out there of, let's say in sports, you have baseball, you have earned runs, you have RBIs, you have home runs, you have all those records, all of the different, you look at the Olympics, the same thing. But you can also look at data like you go to the Transportation Bureau, the main motor vehicles, and you can look up all the statistics for how many drivers there are, how many accidents, and stuff like that. You can get all of this descriptive data. And so what I want you to do is go out on the web, find an example of that, talk about it in the discussion board, and maybe discuss, what does it tell you? Is it a complete picture? Is there a bias to it? Is there a message or an opinion that's coming through on the statistics? This is particularly interesting when we look at the graphic representations of statistics, which can sometimes, they're almost always accurate, but they may be configured in some way to make a message that there's a lot going on, or maybe there's not a lot going on, or maybe it's way too much or way too little, or too high or too low. But that can be manipulated with the visual references that we have. So first, finding that kind of information on the web. Secondly, what does it tell us? The second part is an assignment. And for this assignment, I'm introducing you, in anticipation for next semester when you take statistics, on how to use Microsoft Excel to do statistical analysis. So the chapter is chock full of an example I give of taking a data set and running it through the paces using the tools within Excel to describe that data in all kinds of different ways. I want you to simply repeat what I did. Looking at the screen, there's the exact same data. You don't have to come up with your own data. That's actually hard to find, lists of data. We can get all kinds of summary descriptive statistics, but finding the actual raw data takes a little bit of a task. So I provide you with the data. So what I provided for you is in the course book. Give me a second here to hook it up. In the course book here, this is the teaching section for this chapter. Keep going in here. Right there, download the data Excel file. That is a file in Excel format. You have to use Excel. You have to go and get it from KVCC or buy it or subscribe to Microsoft 365, and download that document and conduct the statistics, conduct all of the tasks using that. That's the data. You download that file, it opens up right in Excel, and you're able to do all the things that I do and take the screenshots that I'm having you do. You're just repeating exactly what I did. You're not new data. Your screen should look just like the ones that are in the course book. So that's that piece. Okay, in terms of where we are on your proposals for your research project, the source article infographic was due yesterday. I'll be taking a look at those. And coming up this week is the summary of the literature review. Now, my intent, adds a little bit of looseness to this, is to do one of these little videos for each one of those. I'm going to run through the project myself, give examples of how each one of these things is done, and I'm going to ask you to hold off on the literature review assignment until I've completed that video. I just want to add to the instructions that are already there. That doesn't mean I'm saying hold off on submitting it. Go ahead and read the material. Essentially what I'm looking for you to do is to draw from the literature within the source article, right there, what they say in there, about the concept of what you're studying, so that you can do an introduction to your study using the same resources they use in theirs. You don't have to subsequently look up all of those individual resources, although you will cite them. So if your source article cites a number of articles for their model or for their theory, you can paraphrase all that and cite the same articles, both with in-text citations, little APA format here, in-text citations, and then a final page that lists all of those references, some of which, most of which, all of which, except for one, your source article, you probably have not read. But you're citing them because your source article used them and you're using them again to justify your study. So you need those and any instruments. I mean, if you're using a survey or if you're using questions or you're using models or whatever that may appear later in the article, then you have to cite the source of those as well. They may be the source article itself, if they've created those things, or they may be external sources. Again, that's a little summary to keep your work on track for right now. My intent is to do one of these little videos on each one of those assignments. So I'm going to be getting started on those this week, and so we'll adjust the due dates accordingly. I may go in and just shift everything 1 week and give myself some time to get ahead on those. So that's what's going on this week. We have Chapter 6, the discussion, exploring descriptive statistics in the media. We have the Chapter 6 assignment, simply doing what I'm doing in the chapter regarding that data, and taking a little pause in the work that you're doing on your proposal so I can get ready to do the little videos to support that. So that's it for this week. Have a great week. I'll see you online, and take care.